is literally it. We never expected to stoop this low, but yet, here we freaking are. She just got roasted by a freaking kid. I really need to do the intro for this video right now because I will not hold out on reading this book any freaking longer. I want to start this book right now, and I need to start this book for a video, and I'm not gonna do the intro without having to start the book, so I'm just gonna do it this way. Hi, my name is Sarah. Welcome back. I hope you're gonna enjoy this video. In this video, we'll be reading crazy books. Crazy books to me, like they may not be crazy to you, but I highly suspect that they are to you as well. I have 3 books picked out for this. 2 of them are physical, 1 of them is on my e-reader, and we're gonna read them in this video. Let's just get into it. Let's show you the books that I think are crazy and are classified as crazy. So the first one, this is the one that I am actually really excited to start. It's Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson. This I just filmed my October TBR, and I cannot explain to you how excited I am for this. This was also on my October TBR. It's a horror. It's fairly short. It's like just over 200 pages, which is perfect length. I'm just really excited for this. It's supposed to get really crazy at the end. Like the beginning and the middle are fairly chill, but then the end goes wild. So this is the first book that I wanted to read in this video. Then a second one, Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon, because why the fuck not? I was like, I cannot only put books where the female protagonist, female main character, or the main character in general is crazy, or there's like a cult-like thing going on, or it's a horror. I cannot put all of those. So I decided to put a romance in there that is about aliens. Yes, you heard that right. It's about aliens, blue aliens. Apparently, this girl gets stranded on this like planet, and she meets this alien, and he is supposedly her mate, and she is his. So he wants to, I don't know, get together. That is all I've heard, and that's all I need to hear when going into this book. I am really excited for this, but I'm also kind of scared. The last one I don't have physically. It's Bunny by Mona Awad. I actually started this before, I think like 1 year ago, maybe even more than a year ago. I was enjoying it, but I was scared of what was to come. But this is basically about this cult. These people call each other Bunny, and it's supposed to get crazy. I read, I think, like 20% of the book, so I got pretty far of the way in, but I never finished it. I never continued it. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. Obviously, gonna start with Bloom, and then after that, I think Ice Planet Barbarians, and lastly, Bunny. And that is the order that we're going to go in. I hope you enjoy this video. I'm gonna start this book. Alright, so first impressions. I have now read 1 chapter exactly, so that's 10 pages. It's not a lot, but you can tell a lot from 1 chapter. Like, you can tell a lot from a few pages even. So, here's the thing. It's third person. I am not the biggest fan of third person. I don't mind it, but I also don't love it, but it's fine to me. Like, I feel pretty neutral about it. Every time, or almost every time that I read a book in third person, I have to really get used to the fact that it's in third person. It just takes some getting used to, and there's no difference with this book, because the first chapter was kind of hard to get through, but also there was a lot of noise around me, so that could also have played a factor in the fact that it took me a while to get through the first chapter. What I've read so far, I am kind of scared, but also really curious. I'm really curious, and I don't know how this will play out. I have this like weird feeling that I know what's gonna happen, but I'm not 100% sure, and it could just be me being paranoid or something, but it is a horror and it's supposed to get crazy, so I'm not sure. But those were my first thoughts I wanted to share. Now chapter 2, and I'll continue it. I am now just over halfway, and here's the thing. I haven't actually told you what it's about, and I want to, if you want to read this book, I want you to go in pretty blind, but basically it's about these 2 women. Ro, the main character, she meets this woman, Ash, and they get along really well, and Ro becomes a little bit, I don't want to say obsessed, but she really likes Ash, so she keeps coming back to Ash. Eventually, some things don't seem right anymore. And I'm not going to tell you any more than that, but that's basically the premise of the story. That's also what it said on the blurb of the book. I am now on page 107, chapter 10, and it's very unsettling because I don't want to say nothing has happened, because some things have happened, but you just know something crazy is going to happen, but you don't know what it's going to be. So I'm kind of feeling kind of unsettled. Like, ooh, I don't know what's gonna happen, but something is gonna happen, obviously. I don't want to say scary, but again, unsettling. So I expect to finish this today, and I may need to start Ice Planet Barbarians after that because it's already pretty late, and when I finish this book, I probably have to go to bed straight away. And I am afraid that I will be scared. I'm gonna continue reading this. I think the next time that I'm updating you is when a big plot twist or something happened, or I have finished the book. So that is the plan. That was definitely an experience. Let's keep it at that. So I was right when I said that the crazy stuff would begin at the ending. Like, there were some things wrong, like some red flags that this girl Ro decided to ignore. I rated this a 4.25 because I thought it was really, really good, especially for such a short book. I think the author did a really, really great job, like, making the character development in such a short amount of time, and I really enjoyed that. But what I do think, the synopsis, like this piece, don't read it because you will be spoiled. Because I read that and I immediately knew what the plot twist was going to be, and I was not wrong at all. I was completely right on the mark, and it was kind of annoying because I wanted to be surprised. No, I wasn't surprised, but honestly, when you start reading this book, it's glaringly obvious what's going to go down, to me at least. It was very, very predictable to me, but it was still a really fun time, and it made me feel really, really unsettled. And kind of nauseous, to be honest, at the ending. Very short. I wouldn't say it was fun. Like, for the most part, it was a fun time. But when you know what the climax is going to be, when you know what you're working towards, it's not as fun. But, like, you know it's a horror, so you know something is about to go down. But you don't know exactly, if you didn't guess the plot twist, but you don't know exactly what that plot twist is going to be. I'm hungry. Yeah, I don't know why I said that, but I'm hungry. I don't have much else to say. All I can say is I'll start Ice Planet Barbarians after this. I hope I can finish that tomorrow. Like, I'm not making any promises. If you've seen my 24-hour readathon, I'm not making any promises because that's not the way to go, Sarah. Because when I make promises, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna read this book, I'm gonna finish this book that day. I'm not gonna do that. I just have to go with the flow, and in that way I will achieve something or I will not achieve something, but I will not have made empty promises. I'm gonna start Ice Planet Barbarians today or tomorrow. I think it's gonna be tomorrow because I kind of want to go to bed, but we'll see about that. I'm not gonna be updating today anymore, but I will update tomorrow, obviously. I'll see you tomorrow. I did end up starting Ice Planet Barbarians yesterday, but before that I wanted to give you an update on Bloom because obviously I already finished it, but I changed the rating already to a 4-star instead of the 4.25. I was just high on the moment, let's put it like that. I was high on the moment and I was like, oh my god, this was crazy. So I just immediately gave it a 4.25 because I was like, yeah, this was crazy. But then like 10 minutes later, I was like, no, that doesn't seem fair because I enjoyed it, but not to the extent of giving it higher than a 4. But now, Ice Planet Barbarians. I started this yesterday. It's interesting. Let's just say that. If you know what I'm talking about, that one scene, I don't have words. I don't have words because I don't know how to explain this. Let's just keep it at that. If you've read this book, you will know what scene I'm talking about. I think it's at the beginning of the book. But basically, what the story is about, it's about this girl. She gets abducted by aliens. She never knew aliens were real, but then she gets abducted by them. So she wants to escape. Eventually, the aliens drop her and a lot of other girls on this random planet because there was something wrong with the engine or something. So they dropped her and those other girls on an island. She has to explore and she meets this blue barbarian alien, and that is Vectel. And Vectel is our love interest. That's basically the premise of the story. That's how much I've read. But I'm gonna continue this today. I am invested already. Like, I don't know why, but I'm invested. That was the update that I wanted to give you. I forgot to say something. They don't speak the same language because she's obviously human and he's an alien, but they don't speak the same language. So I don't know what will happen in that regard. Will they eventually understand each other? Will they have like a translator? Will something happen where they can understand? Or will they never understand each other? Because that's just weird. I think that would significantly lower the rating for me. Again, we'll see. I'm gonna keep reading now. She just got roasted by a freaking kid because she went with Vector to, her name's Georgie, by the way. So Georgie went with Vector to his home base, basically. This kid that they meet says to his mother, "Mother, why is its face so ugly?" That's harsh, babe. That's harsh. So confused. Oh my fucking god. I have this much left, right? Excuse me? It felt like an ending. So I was like, is this the end? Because I felt like it couldn't be more. There couldn't be more to keep the story going. But and then I saw bonus epilogue. I was like, what the fuck? I have more than 75 pages left. I'm gonna figure this out. This is it. This is literally it. I just checked, and there's an extra novella. Look at that. I spent honeymoon. This was it. I'm gonna read the bonus epilogue and maybe like the extra content, like I planned honeymoon. I don't know. This is confusing. I just thought it was 300 pages. Apparently it's not. It's only 218 pages. I ended up finishing Ice Planet Barbarians, obviously, because it was just over 200 pages. And I cannot read the next book. Like, it's a little novella of the honeymoon of these characters. What was his name? Vector and Georgie. So that's a honeymoon, but the author did say that you will be spoiled if you read that before you read the second book. And I do really want to read the second book, so I'm going to be doing that. Then I will go back to this book and flip the pages and read that little honeymoon novella. Here are my thoughts. I surprisingly, surprise of all surprises, rated this 4 stars. And I honestly thought it was not that odd. It was not that weird. Once you get past the fact that he's a blue alien with all these ridges, and it's a fun book. It's like, I don't want to say any normal romance, but it is pretty basic. The sex wasn't even that crazy, honestly. Like, the sex wasn't even that crazy. Did want to say, it's obvious Georgie and a bunch of other female human people, they get stranded on this planet where these ice planet barbarians live. And they are so accepting of the fact that they have to stay there and not go back to their families, to their friends, to the city that they lived in. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do this. Not even a bit of grief or something like that. Not even hesitation. They were like, let's go for it, babes. So I feel like that could have been a little bit more fleshed out. I cannot really fault the book for it because it's a fun, ridiculous time. I will definitely continue the series, as I've said before. I don't have anything else to say. I'm gonna start Bunny now. I was not expecting this video to be like reading short books for a few days because I was fully convinced that I read a 200-page book, a 300-page book, and then also another 300-page book. But apparently, we only have one 300-page book and two 200-page books. I'm gonna grab my e-reader. Here it is, my trusted e-reader. I'm gonna get Bunny, and then I'm gonna obviously read it, start it, and see what I think of it. I don't know if it's a smart idea to read this before bed, but fuck it, we will do it. And if I get scared, I'll read some smut on my e-reader or something. Like, I have a book there that I can just pick up and read the smut. So I'm not sure when I'm gonna update you, but you will see when I will update you, so. But I thought I would do an update. There's no doubt in my mind that this is an unreliable narrator. No, not a single percent of doubt in my mind that she's an unreliable narrator. Because this shit is crazy, and this doesn't happen in the real world. Like, but I'm on chapter 12. What percentage? 32%. So I am about 1/3 of the way through it. There's just paragraphs on paragraphs on paragraphs of her explaining background shit that we don't even need to know about, really. But I think that's kind of part of the charm, and I think that's also part of the story about the fact that we have an unreliable narrator. Like, I strongly suspect that it's an unreliable narrator, but nothing has been confirmed, you know? I think that will only happen at the end. I think this is the weirdest book that I've read so far. I'm just under 1/3 of the way through, and I already know that this is the weirdest book that I've read in this video. Looking at the reviews, people said that this shit was weird. It is good, it is fun. I'm gonna keep reading. That was updates. I don't know what to feel. What should I feel? What should I feel about this book? Because I don't fucking know. I finished it. The last like 20% of the book got me so confused. Nothing made sense anymore. The ending didn't make sense to me. I don't understand what went down in here. I expected this to be all about the cult that she was in and of her eventually maybe leaving the cult. But that was not all. That was not all. That was only like a small part of the story. I'm not even kidding. Like, that was not all. I was debating on a 3.5 before I read the last 20%, because then I was like, nah, this ain't the 3.5, this is a 3. I don't like to feel dumb, and it made me feel a little bit dumb. I've already mentioned this in one of my previous videos, I think, where I read a fantasy book, and I didn't understand shit about the fantasy book, and when I don't understand anything, I am not enjoying my time, I'm not enjoying myself. I don't have any concrete thoughts about this, except for it was an enjoyable read. It was very odd, weird. The way this was constructed was also very interesting. I would definitely recommend this book if you're into that sort of thing. But if you're not into this sort of thing, if you don't like stuff that is a little crazy, a little bit shocking, not shocking, but a little bit like, I don't know how to feel. If you don't like that kind of stuff, I wouldn't recommend. But if you do like to be a little bit confused sometimes, if you like an unreliable narrator, I would recommend this book. That was the last book that I read. Let's do a recap of all the books that I read in this video. The first one that I obviously read was Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson. I enjoyed this one. I originally rated it a 4.25, but then like an hour later, I changed my rating to a 4 because I felt like that was more fair towards this book, because I was shocked by the ending. I was kind of flabbergasted. And that is why I wanted to rate it 4.25. That's why I did rate it a 4.25. But that wasn't fair because I didn't enjoy it to the extent of it being a 4.25 star rating. But overall, really enjoyable book. I've already told you the premise, I think. Just short, easy to get through, and kind of crazy. I don't have the physical copy because it's downstairs and I'm not about to go downstairs because I live in the attic, on the attic. I'm not gonna walk downstairs. I Spent Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. This was really enjoyable. This was the highest rated book of this vlog. I will definitely continue the series. The series is already in my Amazon wishlist. Like, that is how desperate I am to get to the next few books. And then the last book, we already talked about it, Bunny by Mona Awad. Awad, I don't know. But this was definitely something. I think this was definitely the most confusing book of this video. If we're counting towards enjoyability and gripping stuff, I think this would have to be number 1 for some reason. It's just so gripping, engaging, and I enjoyed my time, but I couldn't rate it anything more than 3 stars because the last 20% were so confusing. Those were the books of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed and you want to watch more of me, subscribe and of course like this video, and I hope I'll see you later.